Hello everyone, and welcome to the free-to-play Rares Only Plus series. On this account, I've been progressing through the game using champions who are rare, uncommon, or common, plus any champion who is free and permanently available to all players. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. As you can see, I'm on day 172, and we're about 8 days away from Seal of the Drakes, which is particularly important because I believe she will be the ticket for my continued progression in Doom Tower Hard. We've beaten the first 4 bosses, but now I'm stuck on wave 43. The reason being, I don't have enough crowd control. The problem I'm running into is these counterattacks. Like, Yakarl does freezes, Drexlar does provokes, Bellower does some stuns because of his stun set, but I don't have enough uptime on this crowd control. Additionally, if I do get counterattacked, Seal of the Drake's passive will help heal my allies up and even revive them if they fall, which I don't currently have those luxuries at the moment. I could bring in Reliquary Tender for healing and revives, but that still doesn't change the fact that I'm getting counterattacked to death. So, as you can see, I'm struggling. I've even tried to do it on manual, and I just could not quite get it. So, I do believe that Seal of the Drakes is the answer here. For the entirety of this ×2 Savage event, I've been just plucking away at Fire Knight. I finally got my Arbiter to level 60 just from, she's been gaining passive XP while being a part of my dungeon team. I think she was like level 40 something when I first started doing these Fire Knight runs. And with the addition of Arbiter onto this team, I have massively reduced the time that it takes me to do these runs. That increased attack is like really good, especially on a champion like Soulbond Bowyer. You may have seen or may not, but she cracked this Guardian over here for like 80,000 damage. If she gets a War Master hit, I've seen her hit for as much as 120k. So this is just really good. So between that and being able to bring in War Maiden for the big version of decreased defense, it's massively increased like the speed at which I can clear this dungeon. Before Yakarl the Scourge and Arbiter, I was running, instead of War Maiden, I was running Bellower in a stun set, and before Yakarl, I had Drexlar for his provoke. And before Arbiter, I had High Katoon. So it was High Katoon, Soulbond Bowyer, Coldheart, Drexlar, and Bellower. So Yakarl the Scourge came in to replace Bellower and Drexlar as my crowd control. So because I no longer needed Bellower, I was able to bring in War Maiden for the big version of decreased defense. And now Arbiter has come in to replace my High Katoon as my turn meter booster, and she brings increased attack. So between having the large version of decreased defense and having increased attack on my team, it's just significantly, it's just such a huge difference. Like it shaved off like a minute from my runs overall. It's been massive. You can sell those and sell that. So, been spending tons of energy. I even spent a fair amount of gems because I just want the Savage gear. And like I'm like 1,700 points ahead of the second place person, which I don't really care about. I'd honestly actually rather have the gems, but I'll take 6 pieces of 6-star epic gear. Even though I'm not, I've mentioned this before, but sometimes I forget that new people are coming in to the series constantly. So I'm not planning on building any of my champions on this account in Relentless, because the whole point of this series is to teach players how to beat the game using champions who are relatable, that everyone will always have access to, and I'm going to do my best to do relatable builds, which means no Relentless, because not everybody can get good Relentless gear. So I'm using a piece of Relentless gear on Drexlar just because it's just had the stats I was looking for to complete his build, but he's obviously not in a Relentless set. So I'm just going to be using them as individual pieces for broken sets to kind of fill in the gaps, I guess. So getting 6 pieces of 6-star epic gear is always a good thing, but because it's like the fact that it's Relentless is kind of irrelevant for me. So aside from Arbiter, my most recent 6 stars on this account have been Yaga the Insatiable, Gnarlhorn, and Meat Carver Tolag. The reason I've selected these champions specifically is I'm confident that with the Skinwalker champions I currently have on this account, I can actually beat the Skinwalker faction for Faction Wars. Not only that, but building a Skinwalker Faction War team will help me in the Skinwalker only Secret Room in Doom Tower Normal. It will help me in the Galen Pack Secret Room in Doom Tower. And then Tolag and Gnarlhorn specifically are each HP champions, which will help me in both of the HP champion only secret rooms in Doom Tower Normal. So by focusing this Skinwalker's faction wars, not only am I completing a one of the faction crypts, but I'm also kind of getting extra value for each of these 6 stars because it will allow me to do like an additional 4 or 5 secret rooms in Doom Tower, which for me that's huge, because I want to start unlocking those secret room champions ASAP, particularly Dark Kale. So he'll be massive for my clan boss team. Having Dark Kale come into my clan boss team means he will replace Frozen Banshee and Coffin Smasher, which will open up room for another champion to come in. So I'll have one champion doing 2 jobs. That'll free up room for a healer like Grush the Mangler. Or maybe a debuffer and damage dealer like Rosin. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to something I'm going to have to experiment with and figure out who is actually the best. Additionally, Yaga is a Force Affinity Poisoner. So while his gear isn't... I didn't have enough good Guardian... Like, I've got him speed-tuned, so I could slot him into my Clan Boss team as my Poisoner / damage dealer. But I still need some... My Guardian gear still needs a little bit of work. Right now he's in flat attack gloves. He's at the right speed for the speed tune, which is the most important thing. But I have the sneaking inclination that it's not going to quite be good enough with flat attack gloves. So I haven't tried him out yet. He doesn't have masteries. I got some work to do. We'll put it that way. But yeah, I'm interested to see how he does when the time comes. Like, once I get, I can't farm any Guardian set gear right now because the Griffin isn't in this current Doom Tower rotation, but next rotation and the rotation after, we'll be able to start focusing Griffin in Doom Tower. Yeah. So, anyway, sorry. We might even be able to start farming 6-star Guardian set gear because I can actually... I'm actually able to start clearing Doom Tower hard waves, which means I'll be able to start clearing Doom Tower hard bosses, which means I potentially get some 5- and 6-star gear instead of 4- to 5-star gear. So that's really exciting. That's really going to open the doors for my ability to put Yaga on my clan boss team without having to re-gear all my champions every time. It would be a mess. So fingers crossed that we'll get some good Guardian gear when the Griffin comes back into rotation. But speaking about Yaga and Clan Boss, so what I've been doing every day is waiting for my clan to knock Ultra Nightmare into Affinity so I can wait and see which Affinity it goes. If it goes Force, then I don't hit Ultra Nightmare because I can't. Like, I barely 4-keyed Force Nightmare. It literally took me 4 keys to do Nightmare on Force. Wow. Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, Brutal, and Hard all went Force Affinity today. That's kind of neat. I mean, it's stupid, but what an interesting coincidence. So, I just can't do Ultra Nightmare on Force. That's another reason why I decided to take the plunge on Yaga, because I would like to be able to hit Ultra Nightmare when it goes Force. And watching my Nightmare runs on Force with Coffin Smasher, he was weak hitting frequently enough that he wasn't able to keep decreased attack on the clan boss. Which is why it took me 4 keys to do it. I normally do a 2-key Nightmare. Like, easy 2-key Nightmare. But, yeah, I'm going to desperately need another decreased attack champion. So the options I have available to my account with the parameters of my challenge would be Veteran, who's Void. He does the decreased attack on his A1. Bogwalker, who's a Force. I haven't even pulled him yet either, but he does 30, 40, 50% chance of placing it on his A1, so that would be a good option. The only other one that I've actually pulled that I could use, which I prefer not to, is... No, not Guardian. Gladiator, that's the one. Okay. So he attacks one enemy 2 times, and then it has a 50% chance of placing decreased attack for 2 turns if the target's turn meter is more than or exactly 50% full. So with my speed tune, the first attack from Gladiator won't have the opportunity to place this, only the second attack, because it's on a 2-to-1 turn ratio. So he attacks, and then he attacks again, and then the clan boss attacks. So he only will have the opportunity to place it on his second attack in between each clan boss attack. So less than ideal. So hopefully I can pull Veteran or Bog Walker soon, so that will ideally be a better option than Gladiator. But I don't know. I might not ever pull either of them. Who knows? You know. So I might have to build Gladiator for Faction Wars anyway. So if I get to a point where I'm ready to focus Knight Revenant Faction Wars, and I don't have a Force Affinity friendly decreased attack champion for Clan Boss, I could consider building him. But I would prefer not to do that if it came down to it. But he had 2 random hits, which each hit has a 100% chance of stunning the target if they're over 75% turn meter. So not the best, but not the worst either. And he's got an AoE, so I could put him in a stun set with this, and then this would, you know, I don't know. My hands are tied, right? I gotta work with what I got. So I probably won't put a rush on Gladiator, but when you consider my options, it's hard out here for a Rares Only Plus. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot to check in. I didn't have a lot to show you this week, unfortunately, due to my halted progression in Doom Tower Hard. Hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more to report. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, I will see you in another video soon. But until next time, everyone, happy raiding.